Stay calm, think smart. A practical guide to clear thinking under pressure, written and published by Echo, Elevate. Introduction. Stay calm. That simple idea has more power than most people realize. In a world that moves fast and reacts faster, calm thinking has become rare, and because it is rare, it is valuable. Most people do not struggle because they lack intelligence. They struggle because pressure steals their clarity. Emotions rush in, decisions rush out, and results suffer. This book exists to change that. Stay calm, think smart is about learning how to think clearly when it matters most, not when life is easy, but when things feel uncertain, stressful, or overwhelming. You will not hear complicated theories here. You will not be asked to change who you are. Instead, you will learn how to slow your mind without losing momentum. You will learn how to pause without falling behind. And you will learn how to respond instead of react. This book will help you understand how your mind works under pressure. It will show you why calm people make better decisions, and it will teach you practical ways to think with clarity in everyday situations. You will discover how small pauses create big advantages, how better questions lead to better answers, and how calm thinking builds confidence over time. Each chapter is designed to be simple, clear, and easy to apply. You can listen while walking, while driving, or while taking a quiet moment for yourself. Nothing here requires perfection, only awareness and practice. By the end of this book, you will not just understand calm thinking, you will feel it, you will trust it, and you will use it, because calm is not weakness. Calm is control, and smart thinking begins there. Let us begin. Chapter 1. Why calm is a competitive advantage. Calm is not what most people think it is. It is not silence, it is not hesitation, and it is not weakness. Calm is control. When pressure rises, most people speed up on the outside and lose focus on the inside. Their thoughts scatter. Their emotions take the lead. Their decisions become reactive. The calm thinker moves in the opposite direction. They slow the mind while the world speeds up. They see more while others see less. And that difference changes outcomes. This is why calm has become a competitive advantage. In every area of life, the person who can stay calm thinks more clearly. Clear thinking leads to better choices. Better choices lead to better results. Over time, those results separate leaders from followers. Think about a busy workplace. Deadlines are tight. Messages are constant. Problems arrive without warning. One person reacts to everything. They rush. They interrupt. They make fast decisions that feel urgent but lack direction. Another person pauses. They listen fully. They ask one clear question before acting. Both people are intelligent. Only one is calm. The calm person sees patterns instead of chaos. They spot priorities instead of distractions. They respond with purpose rather than pressure. That is the advantage. Calm thinking improves judgment. It reduces mistakes. It protects energy. This advantage is not limited to work. It appears in conversations, in relationships, in moments of conflict. Imagine a disagreement between two people. One raises their voice, the other lowers theirs. The louder voice may sound powerful, but the calmer voice often controls the direction of the conversation. People trust calm. They listen to calm. They follow calm. This is because calm signals confidence. It tells others that you are not overwhelmed. It shows that you can handle complexity without losing balance. There is also a biological reason behind this advantage. When stress takes over, the brain shifts into survival mode. Thinking becomes narrow. Creativity drops. Logic weakens. Calm reverses this process. It keeps the mind open. It allows reasoning to stay active. It keeps emotions from hijacking decisions. You have felt this before. Think of a time when you rushed a decision and later regretted it. Now think of a time when you paused and chose carefully. The difference was not intelligence. It was calm. Calm does not slow progress. It improves direction. Many people believe speed is the key to success. Speed matters, but direction matters more. Calm thinkers move with intention. They avoid unnecessary effort. They conserve focus. This creates consistency, and consistency beats intensity over time. High performers understand this. They do not rush every moment. They choose when to move fast and when to slow down. Athletes know this truth well. The best performers remain calm under pressure. They trust their training. They execute with precision. Panic ruins performance. Calm sharpens it. The same principle applies to everyday life. A calm mind makes better plans. It handles setbacks with less damage. It recovers faster after mistakes. This is why calm people often appear lucky. They are not lucky. They are prepared. They think clearly while others react emotionally. They stay focused while others feel scattered. Calm also protects your reputation. People remember how you respond under pressure. They remember your tone. They remember your presence. One calm response can build trust for years. One emotional reaction can undo it in seconds. This is not about suppressing feelings. Feelings matter. Calm does not remove emotion. It places emotion in the right position. Emotion becomes information, not instruction. Calm thinkers feel deeply. They just do not let feelings make decisions alone. This skill can be trained. Calm is not a personality trait. It is a practice. You build it through awareness, through pauses, through intentional responses. Even small moments matter. A deep breath before speaking, a second to think before replying, a short pause before deciding. These moments seem minor. They are not. They are the moments where control is gained or lost. Calm gives you time. Time to think. Time to choose. Time to act with purpose. And time is the most valuable resource you have. As this book unfolds, you will learn how to develop this advantage, step by step. You will learn how to remain calm without losing urgency, how to think smart without overthinking. This chapter is the foundation. Calm is not optional anymore. It is essential. Those who master it will lead. Those who ignore it will react. The choice is yours. Chapter 2. How the mind reacts under stress. Stress changes the way the mind works. Not slowly, not gently, but instantly. Most people do not notice this shift while it is happening. They only see the results afterward. A sharp response. A rushed decision. A reaction they wish they could take back. To think calmly, you must first understand what stress does to the mind. Stress begins as a signal. It tells the brain that something important is happening. A problem, a threat, a demand for action. This signal is not bad. It exists to protect you. But the problem begins when stress takes control. When the mind senses pressure, it switches into survival mode. Its goal becomes simple. Act fast. Reduce danger. Move now. In this state, the mind stops looking for the best option. It looks for the fastest one. This is why stress feels urgent. It pushes for speed over accuracy, reaction over reflection. You have experienced this many times. An unexpected message arrives. Your heart rate increases. Your thoughts rush ahead. You reply too quickly. You speak without thinking. You decide before you understand the full picture. This is not a lack of intelligence. It is biology at work. Under stress, the mind narrows its focus. It filters out details. It simplifies complex situations. This can be useful in real danger. But in modern life, most stress is not physical. It is mental. Deadlines, social pressure, conflict, uncertainty. The mind reacts the same way to all of it. Another effect of stress is emotional amplification. Small problems feel large. Minor setbacks feel personal. Neutral comments feel critical. Stress adds volume to emotion. This is why calm thinking feels difficult. When pressure rises, the mind is louder. The emotional signals are stronger. Logic does not disappear. It simply gets drowned out. Think of the mind like a room filled with noise. Calm allows you to hear clearly. Stress turns up the volume until every sound overlaps. In that noise, mistakes happen. This is why people say things they do not mean, why they misread situations, why they jump to conclusions. Stress also shortens patience. Under pressure, the mind wants quick relief. It seeks closure. It wants the discomfort to end. This leads to poor choices. People choose what feels good now, not what works best later. They avoid difficult conversations. They rush decisions. They choose comfort over clarity. Understanding this is powerful. When you know what stress does, you stop blaming yourself, and you stop fighting the wrong battle. The goal is not to eliminate stress. That is impossible. The goal is to prevent stress from controlling your thinking. Here is an important truth. You cannot think your way out of stress while reacting inside it. First comes awareness, then comes control. Awareness begins with noticing the signs: a tight chest, a fast breath, racing thoughts, an urge to respond immediately. These are not warnings of failure. They are signals that the mind has shifted gears. Once you recognize this shift, you gain power. You can slow the process. You can interrupt the reaction. This is where calm begins. Calm does not mean ignoring stress. It means recognizing it early. Think of stress like a wave. If you notice it forming, you can adjust. If you ignore it, it crashes over you. Many high performers train this awareness. They do not wait for stress to peak. They notice it at the first sign. A leader pauses before responding. An athlete slows their breath before acting. A speaker centers their focus before speaking. These are not accidents. They are skills. You can build them too. The first step is permission. Permission to pause. Permission to slow down. Permission to think. Stress tells you there is no time. Calm reminds you that a short pause saves time. A single breath can change a response. A moment of silence can change a decision. The mind under stress wants action. The calm mind chooses direction. As you move forward in this book, you will learn how to create that choice. You will learn how to work with your mind instead of against it. Stress will still appear. Pressure will still exist, but it will no longer control you. You will recognize the shift. You will slow it down, and you will think clearly again. That is where smart thinking begins. Chapter 3: Separating Emotion from Decision. Every decision carries emotion. That is natural. But not every decision should be led by emotion. This chapter is about learning the difference. Emotion is fast. It arrives without invitation. It reacts before thinking has a chance to speak. Decision is slower. It requires space. It needs clarity. Problems begin when emotion takes the driver's seat. You have seen this before. Someone says something that feels unfair. A message sounds disrespectful. A situation does not go as planned. Emotion rises instantly. The body reacts. The urge to respond appears. In that moment, the decision feels obvious. Say something back. Do something now. Fix it immediately. But that feeling is not wisdom. It is impulse. Impulse feels convincing because it is loud. It demands attention. It creates urgency. Emotion says, act now. Decision asks, what is the best move? Most regrets come from confusing these two voices. Think of a time you sent a message too quickly, or spoke without thinking, or agreed to something you later wished you had not. The problem was not emotion. The problem was timing. Emotion arrived first. Decision never got a chance. Separating emotion from decision does not mean ignoring how you feel. It means delaying action until clarity returns. This is a skill. and like any skill, it improves with practice. Here is an important truth. Emotion is information. Decision is direction. Emotion tells you something matters. Decision determines what to do about it. When emotion controls the decision, the result is often short-term relief. When decision leads, the result is long-term benefit. Consider a workplace example. A colleague criticizes your work in front of others. Emotion reacts with embarrassment or anger. The urge is to defend yourself immediately. If you act from emotion, you may interrupt or respond sharply. The moment feels justified. The damage lasts longer. If you pause, emotion still exists, but decision takes control. You may choose to respond calmly, or wait and address it privately, or ask a clarifying question. The outcome changes completely. Same emotion, different decision. This separation creates power. Power over words, power over timing, power over outcomes. The pause between emotion and decision is where control lives. That pause does not need to be long. It can be one breath, 1 second of silence, one internal question. What is the smartest response here? That question shifts the mind. It moves you from reaction to choice. Emotion wants release. Decision wants results. Another example appears in personal life. Imagine a disagreement with someone close to you. Emotion wants to win. Decision wants to resolve. Winning an argument may feel good for a moment, but it often weakens trust. A calm decision may feel harder in the moment, but it protects the relationship. Separating emotion from decision does not weaken you. It strengthens you. It allows you to feel fully, without acting blindly. Some people fear this separation. They believe calm decisions mean losing passion or honesty. The opposite is true. Calm decisions allow emotion to be expressed clearly, without damage, without regret. This skill also protects mental energy. Emotional reactions are exhausting. They drain focus. They create unnecessary conflict. Clear decisions conserve energy. They reduce friction. They simplify life. One reason people struggle with this separation is speed. Modern life rewards instant responses, fast replies, quick opinions, immediate reactions, but speed without clarity creates chaos. You are allowed to slow down. You are allowed to think. Silence is not weakness. It is strategy. High-level thinkers understand this. They do not rush every response. They choose when to engage. They let emotions settle before deciding. They let clarity rise before speaking. This habit builds trust. People feel safer around those who respond calmly. They listen more. They respect their presence. You can begin practicing this today. Notice emotional spikes. Name them quietly. This is frustration. This is fear. This is excitement. Naming emotion creates distance. Distance creates choice. Then ask one simple question. What decision serves me best right now? Not what feels best. What serves best? The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. Emotion will still appear. It always will, but it will no longer control the outcome. As you continue through this book, you will learn how to strengthen this pause, how to widen the space between feeling and action, how to choose wisely even under pressure. Separating emotion from decision is not about becoming less human. It is about becoming more intentional. And intention is where smart thinking begins. Chapter 4. The pause that changes everything. There is a moment most people miss. It is small, it is quiet, and it happens before every outcome. That moment is the pause. The pause sits between what happens and what you do next. It is the space between stimulus and response, and it changes everything. Most people live without noticing this space. Life happens. They react. Then they deal with the results. Calm thinkers live differently. They pause. They choose. Then they act. This pause does not require minutes. It does not require silence or solitude. Often it lasts only a second, but that second carries power. The pause breaks the automatic pattern. It interrupts emotion. It invites clarity. Without a pause, reactions run the show. A comment feels offensive. You respond sharply. A problem appears. You rush to fix it. A request arrives. You say yes before thinking. These reactions feel explained. They feel justified, but they are rarely intentional. The pause restores intention. Think about a simple example. Your phone lights up with a message that feels stressful. Your body tightens. Your thumb moves toward the reply. That is the critical moment. Most people respond immediately. The message leaves their control the instant it is sent, but a pause changes the direction. One breath, 1 second, one moment of awareness. Suddenly, you see options. You can wait. You can ask a question. You can choose a better tone. The pause transforms reaction into response. This is not about delaying life. It is about guiding it. High performers understand this deeply. A skilled negotiator pauses before answering. A strong leader pauses before speaking. A calm parent pauses before reacting. These pauses are not accidental. They are practiced. The pause allows the mind to catch up with emotion. Emotion moves fast. Thought moves slower. Without a pause, emotion always wins. With a pause, balance returns. This is why the pause feels uncomfortable at first. It goes against instinct. Stress tells you to act now. Calm tells you to wait just long enough. That short wait creates control. The pause also creates authority. People feel it when someone does not rush. It signals confidence. It shows stability. In conversations, pauses increase impact. A rushed response often sounds defensive. A calm pause followed by a clear sentence feels grounded. People listen differently. The pause also protects you from unnecessary mistakes. Many errors come from speed, not from lack of skill. A rushed decision misses details. A rushed word creates conflict. A rushed agreement creates regret. The pause reduces all of this. It gives you time to ask one important question. What matters most right now? That question clears noise. It brings focus back. Another benefit of the pause is emotional regulation. When you pause, your body responds. Breathing slows. Tension reduces. Clarity increases. You do not force calm. You allow it. This is important. Calm cannot be demanded. It must be invited. The pause is the invitation. You may think this sounds simple. It is simple, but it is not easy. The challenge is remembering to pause when it matters most. That is why awareness is key. You must notice the moments that trigger urgency, strong emotions, unexpected problems, high-pressure situations. These are signals that a pause is needed. At first you will forget. That is normal. Then you will remember after reacting. That is progress. Eventually you will remember in the moment. That is mastery. The pause also creates consistency. Instead of being controlled by mood, you respond from values. Instead of reacting to noise, you act from purpose. This consistency builds trust with others and with yourself. You begin to trust your responses. You stop second-guessing. One pause today leads to a better choice. Many pauses over time build a calm identity. This is how calm becomes a habit, not through force, through repetition. As you move forward, practice the pause in small moments, before replying to messages, before giving opinions, before making decisions. You do not need to announce it. You do not need permission. Just pause. That pause will change your tone, your timing, your outcomes. It will save you from unnecessary conflict. It will sharpen your thinking. It will give you back control. The pause is small, but its impact is not. It is the moment where calm becomes action, and action becomes smart. That is why this pause changes everything. Chapter 5. Thinking clearly. When time is limited, time pressure changes how people think. When the clock is ticking, the mind feels pushed. Thoughts speed up. Options shrink. Mistakes become easier to make. Many people believe clear thinking requires plenty of time. That belief is false. Clear thinking does not depend on how much time you have. It depends on how well you use the time you get. Some of the smartest decisions are made in moments, not because they are rushed, but because they are focused. When time is limited, panic is the enemy. Panic steals clarity. It makes everything feel urgent, even what is not. Calm thinking restores order. Consider a real-world example. A manager receives sudden bad news. A deadline has moved forward. Resources are limited. People are waiting for direction. One manager reacts emotionally. They rush instructions. They change plans repeatedly. Confusion spreads. Another manager pauses briefly. They identify one priority. They communicate it clearly. The team moves forward. Same pressure. Different outcomes. The difference is not intelligence. It is calm focus. When time is short, the mind must simplify. But simplification should be intentional, not emotional. Emotional simplification cuts corners. Intentional simplification removes noise. Here is a key principle. When time is limited, clarity comes from asking fewer questions, not more. Most people ask too many questions under pressure. They chase perfect answers. They overload their thinking. Calm thinkers ask one or two essential questions. What is the most important outcome right now? What is the next useful step? These questions narrow attention. They guide action. Another mistake people make under time pressure is multitasking. They try to handle everything at once. This creates mental clutter. Focus disappears. Clear thinkers choose sequence over speed. They do one thing at a time. They finish one step before jumping to the next. This approach feels slower. It is actually faster. Thinking clearly when time is limited also requires trust. Trust in preparation, trust in experience, trust in judgment. Athletes show this well. In critical moments, they do not think about every possibility. They rely on training. They stay present. Overthinking kills performance. Clear thinking relies on simplicity. You can apply this in daily life. When a decision feels urgent, do not search for the perfect answer. Search for the best available one. Waiting for certainty wastes time. Clarity comes from movement, not hesitation. This does not mean guessing. It means choosing wisely with what you know. Another powerful tool is mental framing. Instead of saying, "There is no time," say, "There is enough time for the next right step." That shift changes the mind. It removes panic. It restores control. Your body responds as well. Breathing steadies. Thoughts slow down. Focus returns. Clear thinking under pressure also depends on boundaries. Not every request deserves immediate attention. Not every problem is yours to solve. Calm thinkers decide what to ignore. This is difficult at first, but necessary. When time is limited, saying no protects clarity. It keeps attention where it matters most. Communication also matters. Under pressure, people tend to over-explain. They talk more. They confuse others. Clear thinking leads to clear language, short sentences, direct messages, clear expectations. This reduces errors and saves time. Another important skill is recovery. After a fast decision, do not rush into the next one. Take a brief mental reset, one deep breath, one moment of stillness. This prevents mental fatigue from stacking up. Over time, these small resets make a big difference. They allow you to sustain performance, not just survive moments. Thinking clearly when time is limited is not about eliminating urgency. Urgency exists. It is about preventing urgency from taking control. You can move fast and stay calm. You can decide quickly and think smart. The key is focus. Focus on what matters. Focus on what you can control. Focus on the next useful action. As you practice this, confidence grows. You stop fearing pressure. You trust yourself under time constraints. You learn that calm is not the absence of speed. It is the presence of clarity. And clarity is what turns limited time into effective action. When the clock is against you, calm becomes your greatest ally, because the calmer mind does not freeze. It chooses, and that choice makes all the difference. Chapter 6. Reducing mental noise. Most people are not overwhelmed by life itself. They are overwhelmed by the noise in their minds. Mental noise is the constant stream of thoughts that compete for attention, worries about the future, regrets about the past, opinions from others, unfinished tasks. This noise never truly stops on its own. It grows quietly, and if left unmanaged, it drains clarity. Clear thinking becomes difficult, not because problems are complex, but because the mind is crowded. Reducing mental noise is not about emptying the mind. That idea is unrealistic. The mind is meant to think. The goal is not silence. The goal is order. Mental noise increases when everything feels equally important. When the mind cannot tell the difference between signal and distraction. Imagine trying to listen to one voice in a crowded room. The voice is there, but it gets lost among the others. That is how thinking feels when noise takes over. One of the biggest sources of mental noise is unfinished attention. Tasks you have not completed. Conversations you replay. Decisions you delay. The mind hates open loops. It keeps returning to them. Each return adds noise. This is why clarity often improves after taking action, even small action. Writing something down, sending a short message, making a simple plan. Action closes loops. Closed loops quiet the mind. Another source of noise is constant input. Messages, notifications, news, opinions. The mind was not designed to process everything at once. When input exceeds capacity, focus breaks down. Reducing mental noise requires choosing what deserves attention. Not everything does. This choice is uncomfortable at first. It feels like missing out. But clarity requires limits. Calm thinkers are selective. They decide what enters their mental space. This does not make them unaware. It makes them intentional. A powerful step in reducing noise is mental labeling. When a thought appears, do not argue with it. Do not follow it. Simply label it. This is worry. This is planning. This is memory. Labeling creates distance. Distance reduces intensity. The thought loses its grip. It becomes information, not interruption. Another useful practice is single focus. The mind becomes noisy when it switches tasks too often. Each switch leaves residue. Focus on one thing at a time, even for short periods. 5 minutes of full attention is better than 30 minutes of divided focus. Single focus trains the mind to stay present. Presence reduces noise. Mental noise also feeds on emotion. Unprocessed emotion looks for expression. If it does not find it, it turns into restless thought. You may feel irritated without knowing why. The mind fills the gap with stories. Reducing noise sometimes means acknowledging emotion, not fixing it, not judging it, just noticing. I feel tense. I feel uncertain. This acknowledgement relaxes resistance. The mind settles. Breathing plays a quiet but important role here. Shallow breathing keeps the mind alert. Slow breathing signals safety. A few slow breaths can reduce noise quickly, not because the problems disappear, but because the nervous system calms. A calm body supports a calm mind. Another habit that increases noise is mental rehearsing, replaying conversations. imagining outcomes, preparing arguments that may never be needed. Preparation is useful. Rehearsal without purpose is noise. Ask yourself one question. Is this thought helping me act right now? If the answer is no, let it pass. You do not need to finish every thought. Some thoughts are meant to move on. Reducing mental noise also improves decision-making. When the mind is quieter, patterns become visible. You see what matters. You see what does not. Decisions become simpler, not easier, but clearer. A quiet mind does not mean a passive mind. It means a focused one. This skill develops gradually. At first you will notice noise after it has already taken over. Then you will notice it earlier. Eventually, you will feel it forming. That awareness gives choice. You can redirect attention. You can slow down input. You can return to what matters. This is how calm thinking becomes sustainable, not by controlling every thought, but by managing attention wisely. Mental noise will always exist. Life ensures that, but it does not have to dominate your thinking. When you reduce noise, clarity rises naturally, effort decreases, confidence grows. You think better not because you try harder, but because the mind finally has space to work. Reducing mental noise is not about escaping life. It is about engaging with it clearly, and clarity is the foundation of smart thinking. Chapter 7. Asking better questions. The quality of your thinking is shaped by the questions you ask, not the answers you chase. Most people rush toward answers. They want certainty. They want closure. But strong thinkers slow down and ask better questions first. Questions guide attention. They tell the mind where to look. They decide what you notice and what you miss. When questions are weak, thinking becomes scattered. When questions are clear, thinking becomes focused. Many problems feel complex because the wrong questions are being asked. For example, consider a common question. Why is this happening to me? This question leads to frustration. It invites blame. It rarely leads to useful action. Now consider a better question. What can I learn from this? The situation has not changed, but the direction of thinking has. Better questions do not remove difficulty. They create movement. Under pressure, people often ask urgent questions. How do I fix this now? What is the fastest solution? Speed matters, but without clarity, speed creates mistakes. Calm thinkers ask stabilizing questions first. What matters most right now? What is within my control? What can wait? These questions reduce overwhelm. They organize thinking. Asking better questions also improves emotional control. When emotions rise, questions can ground the mind. Instead of asking, "Why am I so upset?" ask, "What exactly am I reacting to?" This small shift changes everything. The second question invites clarity. It breaks emotion into parts. It creates distance. Better questions slow emotional momentum without suppressing feeling. They allow understanding before action. In conversations, questions shape outcomes. A defensive question sounds like an attack. Why would you say that? A thoughtful question invites dialogue. Can you help me understand your point? Tone matters, but intention matters more. Good questions signal curiosity, not threat. This builds trust. Leaders who ask good questions do not dominate conversations. They guide them. They do not rush to prove knowledge. They create space for insight. Asking better questions also strengthens decision-making. Before deciding, ask simple questions. What happens if I choose this? What happens if I do not? These questions reveal consequences. They prevent impulsive choices. Another powerful question is, what would this look like in 6 months? This question stretches perspective. It shifts focus from short-term comfort to long-term benefit. Better questions also reduce mental noise. A clear question replaces scattered thinking. It gives the mind one direction. Instead of replaying multiple thoughts, the mind follows a single line. This is calming. When facing uncertainty, avoid asking unanswerable questions. Questions like, what if everything goes wrong? These questions feed anxiety. They offer no solution. Replace them with grounded questions. What is the next useful step? What information do I need now? These questions invite action. Asking better questions is also a form of self-leadership. It shows that you are not at the mercy of circumstance. You are guiding your thinking. This skill improves with practice. At first you may notice poor questions after the fact. Then you will notice them in the moment. Eventually, better questions will appear naturally. One helpful habit is to prepare questions in advance, before meetings, before decisions, before difficult conversations. Preparation reduces pressure. It improves presence. You do not need many questions. One good question is often enough. Another important idea is silence. After asking a question, pause. Let it work. Do not rush to fill the space. Silence allows deeper answers to emerge. This applies to others and to yourself. Prepare that your own best insights often appear after a moment of stillness. Asking better questions does not mean doubting yourself. It means respecting complexity. Smart thinking is not about having all the answers. It is about knowing where to look. Questions are tools. Use them with intention. Prepare, they shape your focus. They guide your decisions. They calm your mind. As you continue through this book, you will see this pattern again and again. Calm thinking creates space. Better questions give that space direction. Together they lead to smarter choices. Chapter 8. Avoiding common thinking traps. The mind is powerful, but it is not always accurate. Even calm and intelligent people fall into thinking traps. These traps do not come from lack of effort. They come from mental shortcuts. The mind uses shortcuts to save energy. Most of the time they help. Under pressure, they mislead. Thinking traps feel convincing because they sound reasonable. They feel true, but they quietly distort reality. The first trap is rushing to conclusions. When something unexpected happens, the mind fills the gaps. It creates a story. That story feels complete, but stories are not facts. For example, someone does not reply to your message. The mind jumps ahead. They are ignoring me. They are upset. The truth may be simple. They are busy. Their phone is off. Rushed conclusions create unnecessary stress. Calm thinkers slow the story. They wait for evidence. They allow uncertainty. Another common trap is emotional reasoning. This happens when feelings become proof. I feel nervous, so this must be a bad decision. I feel confident, so this must be right. Emotions are signals. They are not guarantees. Fear does not always mean danger. Confidence does not always mean accuracy. Separating feeling from fact protects judgment. Another trap is focusing only on what confirms your belief. Once the mind chooses a position, it looks for support. It ignores information that challenges it. This is comfortable and dangerous. It limits learning. It locks thinking. Avoiding this trap requires curiosity. Ask yourself, what might I be missing? This question opens perspective. It softens certainty. Another thinking trap is all or nothing thinking. This trap sees situations as success or failure, right or wrong, good or bad. Reality is rarely that simple. All or nothing thinking creates pressure. It removes flexibility. A small mistake feels like total failure. A partial success feels meaningless. Calm thinkers allow shades of progress. They recognize improvement. They adjust instead of quitting. Another trap appears during stress. Catastrophic thinking. This is when the mind jumps to the worst outcome. One problem appears. The mind imagines everything falling apart. This trap feeds anxiety. It drains energy. Instead of asking, what if this goes wrong? Ask, what is most likely to happen? Most situations resolve better than imagined. Calm thinking balances caution with realism. Another trap is overgeneralization. One negative experience becomes a rule. I failed once, so I always fail. They disagreed with me, so no one listens. These conclusions shrink confidence. They limit growth. Calm thinkers isolate events. They do not turn moments into identities. Mistakes become lessons, not labels. Another subtle trap is urgency bias. Everything feels important. Everything feels immediate. This trap pushes rushed decisions. Urgency bias thrives on stress. It creates pressure where none is needed. Calm thinkers question urgency. Does this really need action now? What happens if I wait? Often waiting improves clarity. There is also the trap of comparison. Comparing your progress to others creates noise. It distorts self-judgment. You see highlights, not struggles. Comparison shifts focus away from your path. Calm thinkers measure progress internally. They compare today to yesterday. Avoiding thinking traps does not mean eliminating them. It means noticing them early. Awareness is the antidote. When you catch a trap forming, pause. Name it. This is a story. This is fear speaking. Naming reduces power. You regain control. Another helpful practice is slowing language. Instead of saying, "This always happens," say, "This happened this time." Precise language leads to precise thinking. This reduces exaggeration. Over time, avoiding thinking traps becomes easier. You begin to recognize patterns. You interrupt them sooner. This leads to better decisions, less stress, more confidence. Thinking traps are not flaws. They are habits. Habits can be changed. As you continue forward, remember this. The mind will offer shortcuts. Not all of them lead where you want to go. Calm thinking is not about thinking more. It is about thinking clearly. And clear thinking avoids traps before they decide for you. Chapter 9. Calm communication under pressure. Pressure changes how people communicate. Voices tighten, words shorten, meaning gets lost. In stressful moments, communication often becomes reactive. People speak to release tension, not to create understanding. Calm communication works differently. It focuses on clarity, it protects relationships, and it leads to better outcomes. When pressure rises, the first thing that suffers is listening. Most people listen while preparing their reply. They wait for their turn to speak. They miss what is actually being said. Calm communication begins with listening fully. This does not mean agreeing. It means understanding. Understanding slows emotional escalation. It creates space. Consider a high-pressure meeting. One person speaks emotionally. Another interrupts to correct them. Tension increases. Now imagine a different response. The second person pauses. They listen without interrupting. Then they summarize what they heard. "I hear that you are concerned about timing." This simple statement lowers tension. It shows respect. It restores balance. Calm communication also depends on tone. Under pressure, tone often becomes sharp. Even neutral words can sound aggressive. A calm tone does not mean soft. It means steady. Steady tone signals control. It invites cooperation. Another important element is pacing. When stressed, people speak faster. Fast speech increases misunderstanding. Slowing down improves clarity. Short sentences help. Clear pauses help. Calm speakers are not rushed. They choose words carefully. Word choice matters too. Certain words escalate pressure. Always. Never. You should. These words feel absolute. They invite defense. Replace them with neutral language. "This is what I am noticing. This is my concern. Here is what I suggest." This keeps communication open. Calm communication also involves boundaries. You do not need to respond to every provocation. You do not need to match emotional intensity. Matching emotion increases conflict. Staying calm reduces it. This is not avoidance, it is leadership. Another powerful tool is asking clarifying questions. Under pressure, assumptions increase. Instead of assuming intent, ask, can you clarify what you mean? What is the main issue here? These questions slow the conversation. They bring focus back. Silence also plays a role. A brief pause before responding signals thoughtfulness. It prevents emotional spillover. Silence is not awkward when used intentionally. It is grounding. In difficult conversations, calm communication protects your message. When emotions rise, people remember tone more than words. A calm tone makes the message easier to receive. This is especially important in disagreement. Disagreement does not require aggression. You can be firm and calm at the same time. Firmness comes from clarity, not volume. Another common mistake under pressure is over-explaining. People talk more when they feel misunderstood. This often creates confusion. Clear communication is concise. Say what matters, then stop. Let the message land. Calm communication also improves confidence. When you know you can speak clearly under pressure, fear decreases. You trust yourself. This trust changes how others respond to you. They feel steadiness. They feel reliability. Calm communication is a skill. It improves with practice. Start small. Pause before replying. Slow your pace. Choose neutral words. Over time, this becomes natural. You will notice fewer misunderstandings, less conflict, better collaboration. Pressure will still exist, but it will no longer control your voice. As you move forward, remember this. You cannot control how others speak. You can control how you respond. Calm communication is not about winning arguments. It is about creating understanding, and under pressure, understanding is the strongest advantage you can have. Chapter 10. Staying calm with difficult people. Difficult people are part of life. They appear at work. They appear in families. They appear when you least expect them. You cannot avoid them forever, but you can control how you respond to them. Most stress with difficult people does not come from what they do. It comes from how much control we give them over our emotions. Staying calm with difficult people is not about changing them. It is about protecting your clarity. Difficult behavior often triggers strong reactions: irritation, defensiveness, anger. These reactions are understandable, but they come at a cost. When emotion takes over, thinking weakens. Words sharpen. Situations escalate. Calm restores balance. The first step is understanding this truth. Difficult people often act from their own pressure, fear, insecurity, stress. This does not excuse their behavior, but it explains it. Understanding this helps you detach emotionally. Detachment does not mean indifference. It means distance. You create space between their behavior and your response. One common mistake is trying to win with difficult people. Winning arguments feels satisfying for a moment, but it often increases resistance. Difficult people rarely change when they feel attacked. They defend. They push back. Calm thinkers choose influence over victory. They focus on outcomes, not ego. Another mistake is taking behavior personally. A sharp comment feels directed at you. Often it is not. It reflects the other person's internal state. When you take things personally, emotion spikes. When you stay objective, clarity remains. Ask yourself a simple question: what part of this actually requires my reaction? Often the answer is very little. Calm also requires boundaries. Being calm does not mean tolerating disrespect. It means responding without losing control. You can be firm and calm at the same time. For example, this conversation is not productive right now. Let us continue when we can speak respectfully. These statements are clear. They are steady. They do not escalate. Another useful tool is pacing. Difficult people often speak fast and emotionally. Matching their pace increases tension. Slow your pace instead. Speak clearly. Pause between sentences. Your calm pace changes the dynamic. It signals stability. Listening is another powerful strategy. Difficult people often want to be heard, not corrected. Listening does not mean agreeing. It means understanding their position. When people feel heard, resistance softens. You may say, "I hear that you are frustrated." This alone can reduce intensity. Avoid the trap of explaining too much. Over-explaining feels defensive. It invites debate. State your position simply, then pause. Silence can be powerful. It prevents emotional back and forth. It allows the other person to settle. Another key skill is choosing timing. Not every issue needs to be addressed immediately. Some conversations improve with space. If emotions are high, waiting can be wise. Calm thinkers know when to engage and when to step back. You are allowed to pause conversations. You are allowed to revisit them later. This protects clarity. Staying calm with difficult people also requires self-awareness. Notice your own triggers. Certain behaviors may affect you more than others. Tone, dismissiveness, control. Knowing your triggers helps you prepare. Preparation reduces reaction. Before interacting with a difficult person, remind yourself, "I will stay focused. I will respond, not react." This intention matters. Another important point is energy management. Difficult people drain energy, not because they are powerful, but because attention is given freely. You do not need to give full attention to every provocation. Choose what deserves engagement. This is not avoidance, it is focus. Over time, calm responses change patterns. Difficult people often expect emotional reactions. When they do not get them, behavior shifts. Sometimes it improves, sometimes it fades. Either way, you remain in control. Staying calm does not mean the situation becomes easy. It means you become steady. Steadiness is strength. As you practice this skill, confidence grows. You trust your ability to handle difficult interactions. You fear them less. Calm becomes your shield, not a wall, a filter. It lets clarity through. It blocks unnecessary stress. Remember this. You cannot control others. You can always control your response. Staying calm with difficult people is not about changing them. It is about staying true to yourself. And that control is a powerful advantage. Chapter 11. Training the Calm Mind Daily. Calm is not something you switch on when life becomes difficult. It is something you build before difficulty arrives. A calm mind is trained, not through force, but through daily habits. Most people wait for stress to appear before they try to calm down. By then the mind is already reactive. Control is harder to regain. Training the calm mind daily changes this pattern. It prepares you in advance. Think of calm like physical fitness. You do not get strong during the moment. You need strength. You build it through regular practice. The same is true for the mind. Daily calm training does not require long sessions. It requires consistency. Small actions practiced often are more powerful than big actions practiced rarely. One of the simplest daily practices is intentional slowing. Modern life trains speed, fast responses, quick judgments, constant movement. Slowing down on purpose retrains the mind. This can be as simple as walking slightly slower, eating without distraction, pausing before opening a message. These moments signal safety to the nervous system. Safety allows calm to grow. Another daily practice is breath awareness. Breathing happens automatically, but awareness of breath changes the body. A few slow breaths each day calm the nervous system. They reset tension. They clear mental clutter. You do not need special techniques. Just notice your breath. Inhale slowly. Exhale fully. This trains the body to relax on command. Another important habit is starting the day calmly. How you begin the day shapes your mindset. If the day starts with urgency, the mind stays rushed. If the day starts with intention, calm carries forward. A calm start does not need silence or perfection. It can be one quiet minute, one clear intention. Today I will respond thoughtfully. That single thought sets direction. Daily reflection also trains calm. Reflection is not rumination. It is gentle review. At the end of the day, ask simple questions. What went well? What did I handle calmly? What can I improve tomorrow? These questions guide growth without judgment. They strengthen awareness. Another key practice is reducing unnecessary input. The mind becomes calm when it is not overloaded. You do not need constant updates. You do not need every opinion. Choosing when to disconnect trains focus. Silence restores clarity. Even short breaks from noise help. Another daily habit is practicing the pause. Pause before responding. Pause before deciding. Pause before speaking. This repetition builds automatic calm. Over time, the pause becomes natural. You no longer force it. It appears on its own. Training calm also involves body awareness. Tension lives in the body, shoulders, chest. Noticing tension allows release. A relaxed body supports a calm mind. You do not need to fix tension immediately. Just notice it. Awareness reduces intensity. Another powerful habit is simplifying choices. Decision overload creates stress. Too many options drain energy. Calm thinkers reduce choices where possible. Simple routines. Clear priorities. This conserves mental resources. Training calm also requires patience. You will not feel calm every day. That is normal. The goal is not constant calm. The goal is quicker recovery. You notice stress sooner. You return to calm faster. That is progress. Some days will feel easy, others will not. Consistency matters more than perfection. Another important element is self-talk. The way you speak to yourself affects calm. Harsh inner dialogue increases tension. Supportive language reduces it. Instead of saying, "I should not feel this way," say, "This is temporary." This simple shift soothes the mind. Training calm also means choosing rest. Fatigue amplifies stress. A tired mind struggles to stay calm. Rest is not weakness. It is maintenance. Sleep, breaks, quiet moments. They support calm thinking. Over time, these daily practices add up. You notice fewer emotional spikes, clearer thinking, better decisions. Calm becomes your baseline, not because life is easier, but because your mind is steadier. Daily calm training changes how you experience pressure. Stress no longer feels overwhelming. Challenges feel manageable. You trust yourself more. This trust creates confidence, and confidence reinforces calm. Training the calm mind daily is not about discipline alone. It is about respect. Respect for your attention, respect for your energy, respect for your clarity. When you train calm daily, you do not wait for peace to appear. You build it, one small habit at a time, and that steady calm becomes one of your greatest strengths. Chapter 12. Making better decisions over time. Good decisions are rarely about one perfect moment. They are about patterns. A single choice may not change your life, but repeated choices shape your direction. Making better decisions over time is how calm thinking turns into lasting results. Many people judge decisions by immediate outcomes. If it works quickly, it feels right. If it feels uncomfortable, it feels wrong. This way of judging is misleading. Some good decisions feel uncomfortable at first. Some poor decisions feel good in the moment. Calm thinkers understand this difference. They focus on direction, not instant reward. Every decision moves you somewhere, closer to clarity, or closer to chaos, closer to growth, or closer to stagnation. The goal is not perfect decisions. The goal is better ones. Better decisions come from better thinking, and better thinking improves with calm. One reason people struggle with long-term decision-making is emotional fatigue. After a long day, decisions feel heavier. Small choices feel exhausting. Impulse becomes tempting. This is when habits matter. When decisions are aligned with values, you do not need to rethink everything. Calm thinkers reduce decision load. They decide once how they want to live. Then they act from that decision. For example, they decide to speak honestly. So when a situation appears, the response is clear. They decide to protect their time. So saying no becomes easier. Values create structure. Structure simplifies decisions. Another important factor is patience. Good decisions compound slowly. Poor decisions compound quietly. Skipping one practice does not ruin progress. Repeating it does. Calm thinkers respect time. They do not expect instant transformation. They trust consistency. This mindset reduces pressure. You stop asking, "Did this work today?" and start asking, "Is this moving me in the right direction?" That question changes behavior. Another key element in long-term decision-making is reflection. Reflection is how you learn from experience. Without reflection, mistakes repeat. With reflection, mistakes instruct. Reflection does not require self-criticism. It requires honesty. After a decision, ask simple questions. What went well? What would I adjust next time? These questions improve judgment over time. They turn experience into wisdom. Another mistake people make is judging decisions in isolation. Life is not a single move. It is a sequence. One decision affects the next. A rushed choice today creates pressure. Tomorrow, a thoughtful choice today creates options later. Calm thinkers think in sequences. They ask, what does this decision lead to? This prevents short-sighted thinking. Making better decisions over time also requires emotional awareness. Strong emotions distort future thinking. If you decide while angry, you carry that energy forward. If you decide while calm, clarity continues. This is why timing matters. You do not need to decide everything now. Some decisions improve with distance. Waiting is not avoidance. It is strategy. Calm thinkers know when to wait. They allow emotions to settle. They allow perspective to return. This leads to stronger outcomes. Another powerful habit is reviewing patterns. Instead of focusing on one mistake, look for repetition. Do you rush decisions when tired? Do you avoid decisions when uncomfortable? Patterns reveal leverage points. Change one pattern, and many decisions improve. Calm thinking also protects against regret. Regret often comes from acting against your values, not from making mistakes. When decisions align with who you want to be, you can accept imperfect outcomes. This brings peace. You trust your process even when results vary. Another helpful practice is separating identity from decisions. A bad decision does not define you. A good decision does not make you superior. This separation reduces pressure. You stay flexible. You stay open to learning. Rigid identity leads to defensive thinking. Flexible identity leads to growth. Making better decisions over time also improves confidence. Confidence does not come from always being right. It comes from trusting your ability to choose wisely. Each calm decision reinforces that trust. You stop fearing choices. You engage with them. Even difficult decisions feel manageable, because you know you will handle the outcome. Another important aspect is energy management. Decisions made when exhausted are often poor, not because you lack skill, but because resources are low. Protecting energy protects judgment. Rest supports clarity. Boundaries support focus. These are decision tools. Over time, better decisions create momentum. Momentum reduces friction. Life feels more aligned. You respond instead of react. You choose instead of drift. This does not make life perfect. It makes it intentional. As you continue building calm thinking, Remember this, the goal is not to control the future. It is to improve the next choice. Then the next. Then the next. Those small improvements compound. They shape habits. They shape character. They shape outcomes. Making better decisions over time is not dramatic. It is quiet. But that quiet progress builds a powerful life. One calm choice at a time. Chapter 13. Calm Thinking in Work and Business. Work and business environments reward speed. Deadlines matter. Competition is constant. Pressure feels normal. In this environment, many people believe calm is a luxury. They think calm slows progress. The truth is the opposite. Calm thinking is what sustains performance when pressure becomes routine. In work and business, decisions rarely happen in silence. They happen in meetings, in conversations, in moments where others are watching. This makes calm even more valuable. A calm thinker stands out, not by speaking louder, but by thinking clearly. Under pressure, many workplaces become reactive. Emails are rushed. Meetings lose focus. Problems multiply instead of resolve. Calm thinking brings order. Consider a business facing an unexpected challenge. Revenue drops. A project fails. Clients demand answers. One response is panic. People blame. They rush solutions. They change direction too quickly. Another response is calm. Leaders pause. They gather facts. They identify one priority. The team feels steadier. Decisions improve. The situation may still be difficult, but the response determines the outcome. Calm thinking in business begins with clarity of role. When people are unclear about responsibilities, stress increases. Calm thinkers seek clarity. They ask questions. They confirm expectations. This reduces confusion and wasted effort. Another key element is emotional control. Work environments often mix personal identity with performance. Feedback feels personal. Mistakes feel threatening. Emotional reactions reduce learning. Calm thinkers separate feedback from self-worth. They listen without defensiveness. They extract value. They move forward. This mindset accelerates growth. Calm thinking also improves leadership. Leaders set emotional tone. When leaders react emotionally, teams feel unsafe. When leaders stay calm, teams perform better. Calm leaders communicate clearly. They do not rush decisions. They remain steady during uncertainty. This creates trust. Trust improves execution. In business, trust reduces friction. Less time is spent managing emotion. More time is spent solving problems. Another important area is meetings. Meetings often become noisy. Many voices, many opinions. Calm thinkers bring focus. They listen first. They speak with intention. They ask questions that move the discussion forward. What is the goal here? What decision are we making? These questions reduce wasted time. Calm thinking also improves negotiation. Negotiation is emotional by nature. Pressure is high. Outcomes matter. Reacting emotionally weakens position. Calm negotiators listen more than they speak. They do not rush agreement. They stay aware of their objectives. This creates leverage. Silence becomes a tool. Patience becomes strength. In business relationships, calm thinking protects reputation. People remember how you handle stress. They remember reliability. A calm response builds credibility. An emotional reaction damages it. Credibility compounds over time. It leads to more responsibility, more opportunity, more influence. Calm thinking also helps manage workload. Many professionals feel overwhelmed not by volume but by lack of prioritization. Everything feels urgent. Calm thinkers decide what matters. They focus on high-impact tasks. They delay or delegate the rest. This reduces burnout. Energy management becomes intentional. Another benefit of calm thinking in work is adaptability. Business environments change quickly. Rigid thinking fails under change. Calm thinkers stay flexible. They observe before reacting. They adjust without panic. This makes them resilient. Resilience is a business asset. It allows long-term performance. Calm thinking also improves creativity. Creativity requires mental space. Pressure constricts it. A calm mind sees connections. It explores options. This leads to better ideas and solutions. Many breakthroughs appear after the mind relaxes. This is not coincidence. It is clarity at work. Calm thinking also supports ethical decisions. Under pressure, shortcuts tempt. Values get tested. Calm thinkers pause. They consider consequences. They choose integrity over convenience. This protects long-term success. In work and business, shortcuts often cost more later. Calm thinking sees beyond immediate gain. Another important aspect is conflict resolution. Conflict is inevitable. How it is handled matters. Calm thinkers address issues early. They communicate directly and respectfully. They do not avoid conflict. They manage it. This prevents escalation. Healthy conflict improves teams. Unmanaged conflict damages them. Calm thinking turns conflict into progress. Over time, calm thinking changes how you are perceived. You become someone others rely on, someone steady, someone clear. This perception opens doors, not because you push harder, but because you think better. Calm thinking in work and business is not passive. It is strategic. It does not remove urgency. It directs it. As pressure increases, calm becomes more valuable. Those who master it lead. Those who do not struggle. You do not need to be the loudest voice. You need to be the clearest mind. That clarity builds influence. It builds trust. It builds results. In the long run, calm thinking is not just an advantage in work and business. It is a requirement for sustainable success. Chapter 14. Calm thinking in personal life. Personal life is where calm thinking is tested most deeply. There are no formal rules, no professional distance. Emotions run close. This is where reactions feel automatic and where calm matters most. In personal life, stress often hides behind familiarity. Small moments carry weight. Words linger longer. Calm thinking brings balance. It allows you to respond with care instead of habit. Relationships are built through communication, and communication reflects mindset. When the mind is rushed, words become sharp. When the mind is calm, words become clear. Calm thinking helps you listen fully, not to respond, but to understand. Understanding reduces conflict. Many disagreements are not about the issue. They are about feeling unheard. A calm response signals attention. It signals respect. This alone can change the direction of a conversation. Calm thinking also helps with boundaries. Personal relationships often blur lines. Time, energy, expectations. Without calm, boundaries feel like rejection. With calm, boundaries feel like clarity. You can say no without guilt. You can ask for space without conflict. This protects relationships rather than harming them. Another important area is emotional regulation. Personal life triggers deeper emotions. Fear, attachment, disappointment. These emotions are real. They deserve respect. Calm thinking does not deny emotion. It guides it. Instead of reacting, you observe. I feel hurt. I feel frustrated. Naming emotion reduces intensity. It prevents emotion from controlling action. This creates healthier responses. Calm thinking also improves empathy. When you are calm, you see beyond behavior. You notice needs. You sense context. Empathy does not mean agreement. It means understanding. Understanding softens judgment. This improves connection. In family life, calm thinking is especially powerful. Patterns repeat easily. Old habits resurface. Calm allows you to break cycles. Instead of responding the same way, you choose a new response. This creates change. Calm thinking also helps during difficult moments. Loss, uncertainty, change. During these times, advice is less useful than presence. A calm presence comforts more than words. Being calm does not mean being detached. It means being steady. Steadiness provides safety. Another important aspect is self-relationship. How you think affects how you treat yourself. Harsh self-talk increases stress. Gentle awareness reduces it. Calm thinking supports self-compassion. You recognize effort. You allow imperfection. This builds resilience. Calm thinking also influences daily routines. Simple moments matter. Meals, conversations, rest. When these moments are rushed, life feels chaotic. When they are calm, life feels grounded. You do not need more time. You need more presence. Presence improves quality. Calm thinking also helps with decision-making in personal life. Choices about time, relationships, commitments. These choices shape well-being. Calm thinkers choose alignment over obligation. They ask, does this support my values? This question protects energy. Another area is conflict resolution. Conflict is natural. Avoidance creates distance. Calm thinking too allows direct communication without blame. You speak honestly. You listen openly. This builds trust. Trust strengthens relationships. Calm thinking also helps manage expectations. Unspoken expectations create disappointment. Calm thinkers communicate needs clearly. They do not assume others know. Clarity reduces resentment. In personal life, calm thinking creates emotional safety. People feel secure around those who respond steadily. This safety deepens connection. Over time, calm becomes a shared experience. Others mirror your calm. This does not mean relationships become perfect. It means they become more stable. Calm thinking also helps during transitions, changes in roles, changes in routines, changes in identity. During transition, the mind seeks certainty. Calm allows flexibility. You adjust without panic. You adapt without losing direction. As you practice calm thinking in personal life, you will notice a shift. Less reactivity, more understanding, stronger boundaries. You feel more present, more balanced. Calm thinking does not remove emotion. It gives emotion a safe structure. This structure supports connection. In personal life, calm thinking is not about control. It is about care. Care for yourself. Care for others. And that care creates a life that feels steady, meaningful, and deeply human. Chapter 15. When calm feels impossible. There are moments when calm feels out of reach. Not difficult, impossible. The mind races. The body tightens. Thoughts collide. In these moments, advice about staying calm can feel unrealistic, even irritating. This chapter is for those moments, because calm is not always available on demand, and that does not mean you have failed. There are times when stress overwhelms the system, loss, shock, exhaustion, sudden change. In these states, the mind is not designed to think clearly, it is designed to survive. Expecting calm in these moments can add pressure. Pressure makes things worse. The first step when calm feels impossible is acceptance, not surrender. Acceptance. Acceptance says, this is hard right now. It does not fight reality. It acknowledges it. Fighting the feeling creates resistance. Resistance increases stress. Acceptance creates space. When calm feels impossible, lower the goal. Do not aim for calm. Aim for stability. Stability means staying present, breathing, not making things worse. This shift matters. Trying to force calm often backfires. Allowing stability creates recovery. Another important truth is this. Calm does not always begin in the mind. It often begins in the body. When thoughts are chaotic, the body can lead the way back. Grounding helps. Feel your feet on the floor. Notice your breath. Touch something solid. These actions signal safety to the nervous system. Safety reduces intensity. You do not need deep techniques. Simple awareness works. Another helpful approach is narrowing focus. When calm feels impossible, the mind jumps everywhere. Past regrets, future fears, imagined outcomes. Bring attention to one thing, one breath, one sound, one sensation. This anchors the mind. You are not solving everything. You are stabilizing. That is enough for now. When calm feels impossible, language matters. Harsh inner talk increases distress. Instead of saying, "I should be calmer," say, "This moment is intense." This removes judgment. Judgment fuels stress. Compassion softens it. Another useful step is delaying decisions. Strong emotion distorts judgment. If possible, postpone decisions. Say, "I will revisit this later." Time allows emotion to settle. Clarity returns naturally. You do not need to solve everything now. When calm feels impossible, reduce input. Noise overwhelms an already stressed mind. Limit news. Limit conversations. Limit stimulation. Quiet supports recovery. This is not avoidance. It is care. Another important factor is exhaustion. Many moments of emotional overwhelm are rooted in fatigue. The body needs rest, sleep, water, nourishment. These are not luxuries. They are foundations. A tired system struggles to stay calm. Rest restores capacity. When calm feels impossible, reach for connection. Isolation amplifies distress. You do not need solutions. You need presence. A calm voice, a listening ear. Connection regulates emotion. Even brief connection helps. Another key idea is remembering this. Calm is not an all or nothing state. It comes in waves. A moment of ease, then tension returns, then ease again. Progress is not constant calm. It is shorter recovery. You feel overwhelmed, then you recover a little faster. That is growth. When calm feels impossible, trust that it will return. Emotions move. They do not stay fixed. This knowledge creates hope. You are not broken. You are human. Even experienced calm thinkers face these moments. The difference is not absence of overwhelm. It is knowing what to do inside it. Sometimes doing nothing is the right action. Sitting quietly, breathing, letting time pass. This is not weakness. It is wisdom. As intensity decreases, calm begins to reappear. Not suddenly, gradually. A little clarity, a little space. From there you can begin again. This chapter is a reminder. You do not need to be calm all the time. You do not need to handle everything perfectly. You only need to avoid adding to the storm. Stability first, calm later. When calm feels impossible, kindness becomes the strategy. Kindness toward your body, kindness toward your mind. That kindness creates the conditions where calm can return. And when it does, you will recognize it, not as something forced, but as something allowed. That is how calm finds you again. Chapter 16. Building a calm identity. Calm is not just something you do. Over time, it becomes something you are. This chapter is about that shift. Most people think of calm as a reaction. They try to calm down after stress appears. They manage moments. A calm identity works differently. It shapes behavior before pressure arrives. When calm becomes part of who you are, your responses change naturally. You do not force control. You express it. An identity is a pattern you repeat until it feels normal. How you speak, how you think, how you respond. These patterns quietly define you. A calm identity is built through consistency, not intention alone. You do not wake up one day and decide to be calm forever. You practice calm responses, again and again. Over time, those responses become automatic. Think about how people describe others. She stays calm under pressure. He never rushes decisions. She handles stress well. These descriptions point to identity. People trust those with a calm identity. They feel safe around them. They expect steadiness. That trust is earned through repeated behavior. Building a calm identity begins with self-perception. How do you see yourself? If you see yourself as reactive, you excuse reactions. If you see yourself as calm, you pause more often. Identity influences choice. One helpful shift is changing inner language. Instead of saying, "I need to calm down," say, "I am someone who responds calmly." This language reinforces identity. It sets expectation. Another key element is alignment. A calm identity is not about suppressing emotion. It is about responding in ways that align with your values. When actions match values, inner conflict reduces, calm increases. For example, if you value respect, you choose respectful responses even when upset. This choice reinforces identity. You begin to trust yourself. Trust is essential. When you trust your ability to respond calmly, anxiety decreases. You stop fearing pressure. Another important aspect of building a calm identity is repetition in small moments. Identity is not built during extreme events alone. It is built in daily interactions. How you respond to minor stress, how you handle small delays, how you speak when tired. These moments matter. Each calm response is a vote for your identity. Each reaction is also a vote. You decide which one you reinforce. Another element is self-forgiveness. You will not respond calmly every time. That is reality. A calm identity is not perfection. It is recovery. When you react, notice it, learn from it, then return to calm. Avoid labeling yourself harshly. "I failed" damages identity. "I am learning" supports it. Calm grows faster with compassion. Environment also shapes identity. Surroundings influence behavior. Noise increases reactivity. Order supports calm. You do not need perfect conditions, but small adjustments help. Clear spaces, fewer distractions, predictable routines. These support a calm identity. Another powerful factor is boundaries. People with a calm identity protect their energy. They do not engage in every conflict. They do not react to every demand. They choose where to invest attention. This selectivity is not arrogance. It is wisdom. Boundaries reinforce calm. They reduce unnecessary stress. Role models also matter. Notice people who remain calm under pressure. Observe how they speak, how they pause, how they listen. You do not need to copy them, but you can learn patterns. Identity grows through exposure. Another important part of building a calm identity is patience. Identity changes slowly. You may feel calm one day and reactive the next. This does not mean you are failing. It means you are in transition. Consistency matters more than intensity. Small calm choices repeated over time create stability. Eventually others notice. They come to you for clarity. They trust your judgment. This feedback reinforces identity. You begin to see yourself differently. Calm also changes how you experience challenges. Problems feel manageable. Pressure feels familiar. Not because life is easier, but because you are steadier. A calm identity does not remove emotion. It gives emotion a safe structure. You feel deeply. You respond wisely. This balance creates strength. Over time, calm becomes your default. You pause naturally. You think clearly. You choose intentionally. This is not effort. It is habit. Building a calm identity is the final shift, from managing moments to becoming steady, from reacting to life to guiding it. This identity supports everything you have learned so far. It carries calm into work, into relationships, into difficult moments. You do not need to announce it. You do not need to prove it. It will be felt. Calm is no longer something you reach for. It is something you stand on. And from that place, thinking smart becomes natural. Conclusion: calm is a choice. You practice. Calm is not a destination, it is a practice. It is not something you achieve once and keep forever. It is something you return to, again and again. Throughout this book, you have seen one clear truth. Calm is a choice, not a personality trait, not a talent, not luck. A choice you make in small moments, a choice you repeat until it becomes natural. You have learned that calm creates clarity. Clarity improves decisions, and better decisions shape your life. You have learned how stress affects the mind, how emotion influences action, and how a pause can change outcomes. You have learned that calm is not slow, it is precise. You can move quickly and stay calm. You can feel deeply and think clearly. You can face pressure without losing control. Calm does not remove challenges. It changes how you meet them. There will still be difficult days. There will still be moments when calm feels distant. That is part of being human. The difference now is awareness. You know what is happening inside you. You know how to pause. You know how to choose. You do not need to be calm all the time. You only need to practice, returning to it. Each pause matters. Each thoughtful response matters. Each calm choice matters. Over time, these choices compound. They shape habits. They shape identity. They shape direction. Calm becomes your foundation. From that foundation, smart thinking becomes easier. Not because life is simpler, but because you are steadier. As you move forward, remember this. When pressure rises, slow the mind. When emotion speaks, listen before acting. When uncertainty appears, choose clarity over urgency. Calm is always available, sometimes quietly, sometimes after a pause. You do not need to force it. You need to practice it. One moment at a time, one choice at a time. That is how calm becomes strength. That is how thinking becomes smart. That is how a steady life is built. Stay calm, think smart.